Hello, good gentles all. Welcome back. My name is Mica Pointer. I am a graduate employee in the costume shop of the University of Oregon. And today we are going to be working on the skirt hook and bar, continuing our closures series. Now, the skirt hook, aptly named, shall find in the top of zippers, usually in skirts. Gentlemen may also recognize these at the top of zippers in dress pants and slacks. The function of these, especially in skirts and slacks and the tops of zippers, is to keep tension from being placed on the zipper slider itself. Because if there wasn't a skirt hook and bar or button in the case of flies, there to keep the tension off of the slider, then it would just slowly pull itself apart. The slider would just slide on down and it would just banana peel itself on apart from each other. So this keeps the fabric together so it can keep tension off of the zipper and keep yourself from having a wardrobe malfunction on your nice, fancy, formal occasion or wherever you happen to find yourself. So the securing of these will be very much like our regular hook and bar here. The hook will be tricky, just as for this one, because we will have to tunnel and slip our stitches, so we only have the one few picks showing through all layers of our fabric. I guess I'll redraw that diagram in case we find that of use. So coming up, this is the top curve of the fabric. We have our 1/2 inch fold that we see here, and this is the 1/4 inch fold on the inside of those layers. This right on the outside here is the right side of the fabric. This portion right here is the inside or wrong side of the fabric. Okay. I will be double threading my needle. So let me just get that prepared for us, which means I will be taking a length from fingertip to nose, and again from fingertip to nose, because we want extra strength for our closures. There we go. And just watch, as soon as I get to threading my needle on camera, it won't want to work, but bear with me. Second try, cool. Okay, let's get those sorted out. Remembering that to keep there from being annoying twists or whatever that might bind itself up in this project, just easing out any kind of obnoxious twists or spirals that happen to accumulate. And we'll be knotting both ends, creating a loop, sticking it through the loop. To give a little extra security, I'm going to be double knotting it. So once again, making a loop, flipping through the loop, and pulling taut, making sure to keep those knots right with each other. I'm going to trim away some of the excess tails. Snip, snap, dragon, and there we go. All right. So we are ready to begin. Once again, we'll be having this top kind of flat edge of the hook just a little bit inside of the top fold of our fabric project. Okay. And I will have to hold this fairly tightly until I get a few good stitches into it. And remember, we're going to be tunneling all these stitches until we get to the one stitch that will go through all the layers. Okay, so 1, off to a good start. 2, we're good. Okay. And for this one, I'm going to go through all of the layers. I usually have it as my third stitch, the one where I go all the way through, just so I have that one centered in the midst of all the other stitches. You can also do it as the very first stitch, your very last stitch, just as long as one of your stitches goes through all the layers, taking just a little smidgeny itty bitty nibbly pick of the right side of the fabric. Oops, yeah, that came out. There we go. Coming up in the center, lovely. Pulling it taut. There we go. Just barely anything can be seen. Because that is the right side of the fabric, we want to keep it nice and clean and tidy for anyone that might happen to be seeing it. In an ideal world, the thread would be the same color as our fabric, so that way those itty bitty stitches are just invisible. Now, to keep things nice and clean on the wrong side as well, I'm going to be tunneling this stitch to come out at these top loops here, making sure, because if you notice there's still a lot of play, there's still a chance for it to come out completely crooked if we come out in the wrong place for these stitches. So that's why it's really important to keep it nice and secure and be very mindful about where you are coming up. So, sorry, trying to view this from strange angles here off camera. Okay, I'm going to call that good. So I'm going to come out. I'm going to pull that through in the middle of the hole. Checking just to make sure. Yeah, we can work with that. We can work with that. All right. Cool. Now, I'm going to have these stitches kind of fanned out around these holes here. I guess I could have done a better job of that down here, but c'est la vie. Going to be going in on the outside, coming up on the inside, tunneling all of these except for one. We're good, we're good. Okay. There's one. Excellent. Two, we can do kind of on the corner right there. Sure. Nope, doesn't show. Excellent. Third one, I'm going to put all the way down, going through all the layers, taking that itty bitty nibbly pick, coming up in the center. There we go, nice and subtle. And two more. Oops, did you not help on me? Nope, there you are. There we are, excellent. Okay. And now I'm going to go down and come up in the middle of the next hole over. So I kind of tunneled between that. I'm going to do one. Just tunneling that. Excellent. Going to do two. Not peeking through. Not peeking through. Oops, I'm not getting tangled up on other parts of the project. Yeah, careful with that. And this is our third one, so that's going to go all the way through. I'm going to put that one towards the corner there. Okay, just a tiny little pick from the right side. Excellent. I think one of those didn't quite make it all the way through. So sometimes one of the threads tends to get a little bit uneven or shifted, or a little more tension or less tension. So there we go, now popped into place. So every now and again, you can just pull to try and make them even, just pulling on the needle. There we go. So that was our third stitch. Now we have 2 more, and then we'll be good with those 2 loops right there. Oops, did that go through all the layers? That went through all the layers. That's no good. There again, constantly checking, making sure. And if you keep your finger just on the right side of the project, you can also kind of feel if your needle pokes through all the layers. Oh, yep, there we are. There's another loop. Oh, naughty, naughty. There we go again. I have a feeling that this is because my threads have been twisted. So, as such, I'm going to just let my project hang a little bit, let my needle hang, so that my needle can get any kind of tension or whatever else, any kind of loops that it's found itself in, sorted out. Okay. So I think we need 1 more for this hole, and then we can move on. Okay. So, if you remember from when we were working on the hook here, we needed to do 1 stitch just on the inside of the actual curve of the hook, just to keep that part secure. Just a little bit forward of the spring, which is that little bump thing right there. We're going to do almost the exact same thing with the skirt hook right here. I don't know if you can quite see it from this angle, but there's another little kind of bumpy thing on the inside right there. That is another spring. Oh, maybe you can just see it right there. Okay. That is another spring, again, so that when the bar comes into play, it can just kind of click into place. If you notice, there are 2 kind of notches right there. Oh, actually, maybe I could just done like this. There's the spring, right on the inside there. So what we're going to want to do is have our thread come out so that it kind of loops over right where that kind of notches are right there. So we're going to come out just right by one of the notches. Okay. And then we're going to kind of go in to one of the notches, being careful that we keep it on top of the spring, because it would be so easy to just slip underneath the spring and then it would come out just underneath it right there. So yep, right here, and then we're going to come out on the other notch optimally. Yes, exactly. So then we're going to come back in, hooking the spring and keeping that nice and secure. We're going to slip that back in, tunnel, and come out right in the center of our next set of loops over here. Okay, here again, making sure that everything is all in line with each other. So I'm going to actually back that out, just in case I need to do some last minute adjustments over here. But looks good. I'm going to bring it out, pull it taut. There we are. And we'll be doing it again. 5 stitches, 1 going through all the layers of fabric. Oops, there you go. See because I felt the point just graze my finger, so I could tell when it went through all the layers of fabric, and it went through again. Oh dear. Okay, there we go. Oh, finally. Okay, that was one. Do another one kind of on the corner. There we are. This is our third one, so that'll go all the way through all the layers. Out, taking just a little nibbly pick, some of the top layer, going back in here. There we are. 2 more. And then for ending this next stitch, we'll tunnel over to the next loop. There we are. Oh, it's starting to become a little more uneven. So I'm just going to manipulate my threads, finding which one is the loose thread. If I can. There we are. Pulling it taut up the needle. And that was our second, so this is going to be the one that goes all the way through. Just a little nibble. Coming up in the center. There we are. And 2 more, and then we can tie it off. Nope. There we are. 1. 2. All right. Now we're ready to tie off. I'm going to do my anchor stitch. So that creates our loop. I'm going to go once, twice through the loop, pull it taut, and there's our knot. And if we want to make it super dressy, we can tunnel our tails, just slip it in between the layers here, come out a little bit further down, so that way, if we pull it taut like that, creating a little pucker, we can cut it really close right there, so that way the tail will just slip into the layers and vanish. So that is for the dress hook. You can see nice and secure on this side, nice and hidden on this side. Be sure and join us for the second part where we attach the bar. So thank you for joining me. If you need any clarification or have questions on anything, my email is on the University of Oregon website under Graduate Students for Theater Arts. Thank you so much for joining me, and happy sewing!